Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please place your right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing while Emmy plays the Star Spangled Banner on the piano.
Before we begin, we would like to go over some important reminders. Please, silence your cell phones. This evening's ceremony is being video recorded, and a link will be shared with you to download at your convenience. So there is no need to watch the night through your digital devices.
Photographs are also being taken, and we posted on our campus Facebook feed. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the festivities. Hello, my name is Lucas Soderling.
And I am Samuel Tezagoli, and we will be your Masters of Ceremony this evening.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce to you the director of our North Tustin campus, Mrs. Kelly Cameron.
Thank you, gentlemen. You look quite handsome this evening. Before sharing some sentiments with the class of 2019, I'd like to take a moment to welcome a few distinguished guests. Mr. Mendoza, Headmaster of Fairmont Prep and Senior Vice President, Campus Directors, Dr. Kevin Rafferty and Mr. Matthew Calabria, Assistant Head of School and Director of the Education Department, Ms. Carolyn Lucia, Business Office Support Staff, other campus administrators, and of course, our CEO and Chairman of the Board, Mr. David Jackson. Thank you so much for joining us today. And to the Eagle Nation, dearest faculty and staff, you're the very reason these 22 eighth graders sit before us. You have taught them lessons inside the classroom and outside the classroom, and undoubtedly have left an impression on their hearts, as you will soon hear. To the class of 2019, man, I love you. In the short time we've been together, you found a way to nestle yourselves right into my heart. Perhaps it's the conversations in the hallways, or maybe the ones we may have shared sitting in my office, or maybe even the smack talk out here on the green top. Though in the roles that I have been here, I may have been your disciplinarian or your slightly more talented opponent. The role that I hope that resonates is advocate. I hope you realize that in our conversations that I've always been on your side, and I've always worked hard to equip you in the ways that might, just might, circumvent future challenges. For 91% of you, I'm pretty certain we made great strides. And for the remainder, we've actually grown leaps and bounds. See, being a teenager is teeming with challenges and opportunities for growth. The problem is, not everybody gets you. Not everybody understands that even though most of you are adult-sized humans, your brains haven't quite caught up. So you might say and do things without fully processing the consequences. I mean, you might just act like a child still. But as your brain works hard to catch up with the rest of your Kevin Durant-sized feet or your Steph Curry-sized ego, be merciful to others. Be kind to them when they place adult-sized expectations on you. Sometimes they don't always realize that you're barely holding it together. I mean, I've seen your lockers. In all seriousness, when others are quick to make assumptions about who you are, be just as quick to show them mercy and grace. Not one of us is perfect, and this world could use a deluge of empathy and love. I know you're capable of it. In 2 short years, you've made your mark on me. And I know you're ready to make your mark on the world that sends a message of acceptance without judgment. I know you have the IQ and the EQ to change the trajectory of our future. Now it's time to leave the eagle's nest and fly. But if you get lost and you can't quite find your way, you can always come back here to the Eagle Nation. We will help dust you off and send you out again to soar. Thank you, class of 2019. You will be missed. At this time, I'd like to invite our CEO and chairman of the board, Mr. David Jackson, up to share some remarks.
Nicer up here than it is out there. The sun's not shining. I think I'm going to extend my talk a little longer. Okay, I got to talk in here too. I will extend my talk a little longer since it's so much cooler up here. I do want to address this to my fantastic Fairmont North Tustin class of 2019. You guys are really awesome. I am so honored and excited to be joining with your teachers, administrators, staff, your parents, family members, and your friends that are here today to help celebrate this great achievement that each of you have made this many years, and that now you are ready to move on to high school, to some real fantastic experiences that I know you really are ready. And I know that you've been taught by some of the best teachers in the world at what I truly believe is one of the best schools in the world. And I know that you're going to achieve even more. I want to share with you, there's one person that's missing today that normally wouldn't, and it's my son, Chad Jackson. And I wanted to share a little bit of his story of why he's not here. It's very similar to the story that my wife and I have shared. I have only missed 4 graduations in the last 40 years, and those 4 were because we were serving a mission for our church in Russia. My son right now is with some of his family in Brazil at a very wonderful occasion that they're dedicating a temple from our church in Fortaleza, Brazil, which is where he served his mission a little over 20 years ago. It was during that time that he served there that I received a letter from him, that my wife and I received a letter from him, but it really touched me. We all have dreams and admiration or different thoughts and things that we hope our kids will do. It's always their choice. when he wrote to us and said, "Dad, I'm absolutely loving my mission here. I love the Brazilian people. They're so great. But I've really learned to love teaching because we're responsible for teaching these people. And I've fallen in love with teaching. So I've decided that when I get back and finish college, I want to become a teacher. And eventually I would like to become an administrator, a school administrator, just like you." That really got to me. It's something that I'm really proud of. And now, more than 20 years later, this year, he has been named as the new president, the third president in the last 66 years of Fairmont Schools. I've had a few people that said, "So you're stepping down?" And I said, "No, I'm still going to be around. I can't leave this place. I absolutely love it. But I'm going to let him take most of the hassles from now on. And I'm going to be there to pick up the pieces," which I hope there won't be any. But he has proved himself in so many ways. I've told the story many times of how when he did become a teacher, he actually taught in China for a short while and then came back here. And I know that he already knew that I wouldn't hire him as a teacher here. He had to prove himself first, and he went into the Anaheim School District and taught there for 5 years. And it was until the principal and the superintendent that I got to know pretty well, assured me that he was one of the best teachers they'd ever seen. And that's when I said, "Now you can teach at Fairmont." And he came on board, and he's been here ever since, and moving into a lot of different roles. To you students, I really do want you to know that our dream is for you to reach everything that you want, to reach your dream. And I know that your parents have these great dreams too, and that you, if you are continue to put all of your effort, all your time and energy into accomplishing the things that you know are right, you will reach those dreams. And that's what I hope we leave with you, that you can do anything if you put your mind to it. I've realized just how outstanding when I read many of the things you've done, when I listen to and hear the accomplishments, not just this year, but over the many years you've been here. Your brilliance in the classroom, your leadership skills, your service and help to others, your talents in the arts, and your successes on the athletic fields bring all of us such great joy. I'd like to take just a few minutes or a few moments again as part of my tradition and recognize those of you that have been with Fairmont for a lot of years, and ask those of you that have been here since preschool, that joined us in preschool, if you will go ahead and please stand. Okay, you'll remain standing, those of you that joined us in kindergarten, if you'll please stand. First grade. Keep standing. Second grade. So you guys can't remember that well. Third grade. Fourth grade. Fifth grade. Sixth grade. And seventh and eighth grade. I always have to look and make sure that they're all standing, because every once in a while somebody isn't paying attention. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. You can be seated again. I have another tradition, and we had our graduation yesterday at our Anaheim Hills campus. And last year at this campus, I didn't embarrass my granddaughter because I knew that she would probably never forgive me. And I have a nephew at Anaheim Hills that I also yesterday didn't embarrass him. But I would try to embarrass any of the rest. With some of the stories that I hear from some of you as teachers and administrators, and some that I've seen too. So, Kian, you would sometimes forget what sport you were playing, it seems. In some of the basketball games, you were so excited that you would tackle the kids on the opposing team. They said you didn't play too many games because of that, but they could always count on you for a lot of different scores and to foul out. John Boyer, we remember when you dressed up as a grape with lots of balloons in the 4th grade. You walked around so proud, but when you sat down, you accidentally popped one of them, and you started turning red. Then you got up and sat down again and popped another one, and the red got even brighter. Ziad, Mrs. Esparza said you were a coach's dream, not only an incredibly gifted athlete, but just a great student. But you often were really good for a lot of great laughs, like the time you got your hand stuck in her briefcase, or when you decided to bring a 3-course Italian meal on the bus going to soccer, or when you would exercise with Sharif on your back. You always did everything with heart and passion, and always would cheer for the girls on the junior varsity team. That's just the type of person you are. Cliff Jen, as a former swimmer herself, your Spanish teacher loved the dedication you had to your sport and would smile every time that you managed to incorporate swimming in some way into your Spanish assignment. And then this year, she said you were the first student to really finally enjoy her Spanish fish joke in class. Que hace un pez? Nada. What does a fish do? Nothing, just swim. I didn't quite recognize that either. I forgot most of my Spanish. Lucas Soldering, I understand you are so friendly that you say hi to virtually everybody you run into, sometimes over 100 times a day. And Alex Lewis, Mrs. Anderson said you were the littlest of the 3 Lewis kids she had the great privilege of teaching in kindergarten. She remembers how you loved to go up in front of the class and sing a song that you had made up every day. Each one of you has some really awesome highlights of your achievements here at Fairmont over these years. And you can revel in your many victories, the activities, and the fantastic achievements that you've made and you've worked so hard for. But we don't want you to forget those who helped you on this way. And so at this time, I'd like to ask all of you, teachers, administrators, staff, and parents, if you'd stand now that they can go ahead and recognize you and give you the thanks that you are due. You know, all of these wonderful people that you just saw stand are the ones that really believe in you. They share in your success. This victory that you have as you move on now into high school is theirs as well. And I know they are bursting inside with all the pride and everything they have, as I too am so proud of you and your accomplishments. I want to just end and say thank you and congratulations to the North Tustin awesome class of 2019. Thank you. It's still sunny out here.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. Next, our ASB president, Aiden Ahmed, would like to thank a few people who have made a difference in the lives of the class of 2019.
Good evening, everyone. I'm honored to be here today speaking to you on behalf of my classmates. I still remember when I was 4 years old, my mom took me to a couple of schools to tour the facilities, and I told her right there on that spot that I wanted to come to school here. That was over 10 years ago, and I can tell you that the opportunities and invaluable experiences provided by Fairmont, the teachers, the administration, student services, and each and every staff member has shaped not just me, but each and every one of us here on stage. I want to begin by thanking our teachers. We are eternally grateful for all the lessons you've taught us from pre-kindergarten to 8th grade. As a class, we haven't been the easiest to manage. However, the patience, time, effort, love, and care that you put in throughout the years has been extraordinary. You've always been there for us, willing to go out of your way, stay late after school, answer emails over the weekend, calm us during our stressful times, and even just being someone to talk to when we may be feeling sad or upset. Looking back, I believe each individual teacher has taught us life lessons, which we can all continue to apply and look back at the amazing memories we have created. So thank you, Mrs. Rose, Miss Anderson, Mrs. Frazier, Mrs. Winslow, Mrs. Lewis, Miss Lee, Mrs. Torres, Mrs. Amata, Mrs. Hart, Professor Abe, Mr. Cameron, Mr. Clovis, Mr. Chi, Coach Jordan, Mrs. Harris, Mrs. Huang, Mr. Hughes, Mrs. Miller, Mrs. Pack, Mr. Barrow, and Mr. Tran. And of course, a special thank you to Ms. Devane and the many stories of wisdom you endowed upon us. You'll always be in our hearts. The second group of people that I would like to thank are student services. During the earlier years at school at Fairmont, our entire class saw student services as the one who had ruined all of our fun on the yard. I realize now that the student services only did that for our protection and well-being, and I'm sure I would have broken many more bones if it wasn't for them. Looking back, I believe, and my peers would agree, that they collectively created the environment of fun and excitement we have at our school today. Next, I'd like to thank our team of administrators, current and in the past. Mrs. Cameron, Mr. Romo, Mrs. Calabria, Mrs. Jansen, and Mr. Drake. The countless times that my classes had conflict, problems, and issues, administration always came up with solutions to help us. We've always felt our voices were heard, whether we were right or not. There was always someone we could count on to support and guide us. The time and care that these individuals put in is unparalleled. The many times Ms. Carly and Mrs. Dembeck made sure we had our permission slip signed so we could actually attend the field trips, or the countless times I had headaches or broken bones, they were always there to make me laugh. I'm so truly grateful for all that they've done for us. And last but not least, a final big thank you to our parents, who have given me and my classmates the privilege to attend this fabulous school. We appreciate and love you so much, and we'll use these opportunities that you have given us to flourish in our futures. Thank you.
Thank you, Aiden. Kiana Minion and Kareem Debian will now present the class gift.
Each year, the promoting class takes the opportunity to bestow a gift upon the campus.
This year, we knew our gift would need to be special, since this year has been extraordinary.
Because Ms. Devane spent so much time trying to cultivate our talents in art, we thought it was fitting to leave an art installation behind.
On the way to the junior high quad, there's a butterfly garden.
22 meadow flowers line the flower bed with each of our names.
And one butterfly flies among them, representing our beloved Miss Devane.
For years to come, her impact on all of us will remain in the garden and on our hearts.
Mrs. Huang and Mrs. Ribeiro will now come and share a poem they wrote about the class of 2019.
Tonight we gather in this place to send them on their way, these young people with whom we've spent so many of our days.
We represent the others who have loved and cared and taught, and now we offer up to you our collective memories and thoughts.
In his 4th grade year with beloved Miss Lee, Aiden proposed by getting down on one knee. A determined athlete despite many fractured bones. It happens when you play hard and are always in the zone.
What airline is that? Captain Keon knows them all. Regularly found in the quad causing ruckus with a football. A scholar, he finished his work in a jiffy, then emailed his teachers and expected a response quickly.
We find Nisha to be mature well beyond her years. Intrigued by thrillers, there's nothing that she fears. Funny and friendly, she's also true and reliable. Her silly photo bombs in DC were unidentifiable.
John Lawrence's costumes were repeatedly the best. Even as a deflated grape, he's always been finely dressed. Miss Pack was taught a special Boy Scout handshake as a token of friendship that will never ever break.
Kareem is like a giraffe, tall and lanky, but so very sweet. Extremely polite and with a smile when he greets. Obsessed with wrestling since forever we've known. His mention of John Cena still makes his teachers groan.
Emmy's lovely smile lights up any room. Her curiosity and humor are always in bloom. Mr. Clovis says she's a pentathlon goddess with a plan. This we won't deny. All hail to the milkman.
Forget Salutatorian, Rohan's a rapper at heart. Polite and well-mannered, his wit still rips foes apart. With an ear for language, grammar, and logical fallacies, this hardcore debater deals in fact, not generalities.
Ziad is known most for his silliness and good cheer. A gifted athlete and gentleman, but his hammer in English caused fear. Despite falling asleep in drama or getting his hand stuck in his case, this is an energetic student who is not easily replaced.
Rayhan's chatter in 3rd grade was forever incessant. Ingrained with confidence at a young age, this charming adolescent loves to wear designer clothing and shop at South Coast. His care for his sister Alyssa is first and foremost.
Now that his presidency in NJHS has concluded, Cliff looks forward to the next challenge uprooted. A pro in the pool, he knew what was understood by few. When Professor Bay joked in Spanish, what does a fish do?
On a soccer field, we're told it's true that Jones really shines. In lit, he said sock instead of soch, but still read between the lines. Flabbergasted by his peers' behavior, he'd always help coach teach. His future is a bright one we can't wait for him to reach.
Alexa is the littlest Lewis of her whole family brood. She devours chocolate cake. It's her favorite food. Even on the worst days, this omnipotent optimist wears a grin on her face. She mastered her aerial flip and cheer with such poise and grace.
Harris has a knowledge of sports that's quite impressive. As captain of the basketball team, his shots were aggressive. Whether gaming on his iPad or sneaking treats in class, how young is someone whose time here will resonate and last.
An outstanding gamer and comedic actor, Zach never misses a beat. The student store saw him often where he ate chips off his feet. He bought a crystal in Florida and asked Miss Miller to be his bride, but quickly began to panic when she turned around and said, "All right."
Often exasperated, stressed, and habitually late to class, eager student Sam still managed to have a blast. Animated with a flair for drama on the stage, we admit, but no, Mrs. Wong still won't freeze your paper to grade it.
Dinosaur backpacks and water bottles until middle school. Shorts and t-shirts in the chilliest of weather too. Logan's expertise in Super Smash Bros. Will get anyone out of danger. His response to anything is, I'm just being a teenager.
Paula's fabulously obsessed with anything squid. Valedictorian, we're impressed as she's the youngest kid. Excellent linguistic abilities, skills, and talents, but in a revolving door in DC, she comically lost her balance.
Luca was the first ever student director of a drama show. Like a flower, his height just continued to grow. Respectful, generous, and kind, he has a big heart. Purchases all the candy, supplies, and pistachios from the school mart.
Easily the loudest, most opinionated on our campus, Sharif's world has its own kind of lovable madness. From shouting about apes, ears, and all things juicy, he'd get busted. But his response, of course, is always simply, "I'm disgusted."
Emma is kind, respectful, and soft-spoken, but don't let that fool you. Her athletic focus isn't broken. Coach Jordan will remember her most as a reliable teammate, lover and rescuer of animals, all because she's just that great.
Sweet, imaginative, and unique to a fault, our dear sunglass-wearing Sahil has a mind like a vault. Whether creating his own stories or sharing sweet dance moves, his knowledge of personal space could still be improved.
For Kyle, there's nothing Disney he doesn't love. His teachers say positivity fits him like a glove. Miss Harris recalls his 5th grade roller coaster construction. Sharing his love for memes and hit videos is always a production.
So now this poem must come to a close. It's time for us to part. But whether it's tomorrow or years from now, you'll always remain in our hearts.
For we too, who have shared so much with you, good, bad, and all things in between, will forever cherish these memories of the class of 2019.
Thank you, teachers, for beautifully and comically capturing the essence of who we are and the few blemishes uncovered on our journey here at North Tustin. At this time, I would like to invite Mrs. Cameron to the podium to share with you the Joanne Allison Citizenship Award.
This award is given to an 8th grade student each year who demonstrates the most outstanding citizenship at school on a daily basis. The award is named after Miss Joanne Allison Still, who modeled this citizenship as a teacher and administrator on this campus for over 30 years. On our very own campus here, Allison Hall is named after her. This award is voted on by our junior high teachers and administrators. Here to announce the recipient of this award is Mrs. Joanne Allison Still.
This year's recipient is Kyle Wang.
Mr. Romo will now introduce our salutatorian for the class of 2019.
Rohan, it has been a pleasure observing your ability to balance your academic, athletic, and social life here at Fairmont. You have achieved the honor of salutatorian through hard work and dedication this school year. What impresses me the most is your ability to excel in academics while participating in a variety of extracurriculars, such as ASB, NJHS, speech and debate, basketball, and volleyball. You consistently demonstrate your maturity, but still remember to take time to enjoy the moment. I can only imagine what the future will look like for you. Continue to be yourself and define your own path to success, but don't forget to take time to celebrate your accomplishments. It is with this great honor to present you our 2019 salutatorian, Rohan Gupta.
Thank you, Mr. Romo, for that wonderful introduction. I wanted to start the speech off today by bringing up a statistic about our academic haven, school. It is said that graduating students often forget 95% of the academic information they learn in school. 95%. So what are we supposed to learn from this? That school is fundamentally useless? Well, no. In fact, it's quite the opposite. In my eyes, this statistic shows that it is not school's sole purpose simply take all this academic information and cram it inside our heads 5 times a week, but rather, school allows us to focus on more important skills in life. School is meant for us to learn how to build a healthy foundation for our relationships with other people and ultimately make us exactly like the type of person we strive to be. And I am pleased to say that without Fairmont, that would not have been possible for me. And because of that, I would like to thank everyone responsible for allowing the possibility of me speaking in front of you all today. I can still remember the type of 5th grader that I used to be 4 years ago. Shy, modest, and awkward. I can still recall how nervous I was entering this campus for the first time, as anyone as timid as I was would be. I can still look back and visualize meeting my classmates for the first time, especially John Lawrence, to which I quickly learned to never, ever call him John. But I especially remember that, in reality, I had nothing to worry about. Everyone here made it easy for me to fit in without any trouble. Both my teachers and my friends. And with that, school became a place that I looked forward to going instead of dreading. I can also recall the type of student I used to be. And if I even began to go on about how that student performed in school, it would be a mystery how that student would be the same 2019 Salutatorian. But of course, such a comeback doesn't come from nowhere. Such a comeback would not have been possible without the endless support that my teachers never gave up to give. The support that came from teachers, all that are either still here teaching about the variety of subjects that set us up for success, or those who have taught us more than enough to the point where we will always remember them in our hearts, despite their unfortunate departure. But at the end of the day, the part of Fairmont that made me the type of person I have always strived is nothing academic at all. It is instead what has allowed me to articulate my thoughts and confidently convey them in a way that is easy to comprehend. With the 2 years of commitment I've put into debate, it certainly has paid off. I'll never be able to thank all my teammates that have supported me throughout all our victories and the coaches responsible for those victories to ever occur in the first place. And last, but certainly not least, I can't give enough thanks to the figures that raised me and opened my eyes to everything I needed to know about life and exposed me to creativity that I never would have been able to experience before. So an unlimited amount of thanks that I could never express in words to each of my family members individually. My mother, my father, my sister Suhani, Stephanie, and most importantly, my dog Lucky, each who have given me the love and support key to my achievements, and had the strength to tolerate all those times I tried the bottle flip around the house, and failed. The journey that I have embarked at this magnificent campus has most definitely made me the person that I am proud to be. But let's not forget that that journey from rising through elementary school and growing through middle school is not just something unique to myself. It is something that every single one of my classmates seated behind me has gone through. And each and every one of us has our own accomplishments, from being presidents of NJHS and ASB, captains of the debate team, those taking victories in art shows and science fair, Hopkins gavel winners, the Valedictorian, to whom I've already told my achievements would not have even been imaginable without her support, and even just being part of graduating 8th grade. Even just that is huge, especially taking in consideration the essay due for Mr. Cameron just a week ago. So my wish for you all in the audience and my graduating peers is life filled with innumerable amounts of love, happiness, and care. The same amount of care you all have given me. But more importantly, I wish you all to be the best versions of yourself you can be. and the best versions of yourself you should always strive to become. And even though I know that if that same shy, modest, and awkward fifth grader was here and saw me standing at this podium today, he certainly would be filled with gratitude, I know I still have a long way to go. But it is important to keep in mind a lesson. One of the many lessons that Miss Devane has taught us. And that is, you only fail if you stop trying. No matter how hard things may be, no matter how bad things may seem, we just need to pull through and never give up to be as close as we can to perfection. Thank you.
Mr. Romo will now present the David R. Jackson Leadership Award.
The David R. Jackson Leadership Award is given to an 8th grade boy and girl at promotion who display leadership skills. These students must be involved with 2 activities such as ASB, athletics, debate, or pentathlon in both 7th and 8th grade. They must remain in good academic standings at all times. This year's recipients have demonstrated great leadership qualities participating in ASB, NJHS, athletics, and pentathlon. Not only do these 2 students check all the boxes for the award, they also continuously place themselves in position to lead. While he leads more by example and quiet confidence, she is more of a verbal leader, giving words of encouragement to her classmates. This year's David R. Jackson Leadership Awards go to Rohan Gupta and Alexa Lewis.
Mrs. Cameron will now introduce a new award that will be added to the 8th grade promotion ceremony for years to come.
This year we suffered a great loss, one we were unprepared for, and one that still makes our hearts and eyes well with emotion. Mrs. Devane taught us about art, literature, English, and most importantly, life. It is only fitting that we honor her each year forward with the Yvonne Devane Art Award. For most of you, she was your first art teacher, and for some, the first person who drew out of you a talent that was hidden deep within. To her, we owe a debt we cannot repay, but one we can honor. So today, we honor her in 2 ways. Adjacent to room 107, you will find our plaque, hereby dedicating the art room as the Yvonne Devane Art Studio, a space that will foster creativity for years to come. Additionally, we'll be awarding, for the first time ever, the Yvonne Devane Art Award. This award is given to the most outstanding artist in 8th grade. Our inaugural recipient this year is Keon Aminian.
Mrs. Cameron will now introduce the class of 2019's valedictorian.
Well, Paula, we both began our journeys as Eagles just last year, and you were quick to make your mark. Not just with your coy smile or love for black belt taekwondo, but also as your pursuit of all things academia. And not just because you're good at it, but because you really do love learning. You aspire to explore the world for the sake of amassing more knowledge. And for that, I must say thank you. Part of the core of Fairmont is the pursuit of lifelong learning, and you've begun to leave your indelible mark here in all disciplines. For your successes in math counts, county and state science fairs, debate, NJHS, and ASB, we applaud you. However, most importantly, we applaud you for letting your kindness, humor, and scintillating smile illuminate even the darkest way. Your intelligence, combined with the sprightly nature, will help lead you down much future success. The best part is, you will pursue it with joy and tackle even the greatest challenges with levity and humor. Paula, we're so proud of you, and it's an honor to call you the class of 2019 valedictorian.
Welcome, parents, teachers, classmates, and friends, to our 8th grade promotion ceremony. I would like to sincerely thank all of you for being here tonight. I would also like to say what an honor it is to be speaking to all of you. I started at Fairmont 2 years ago in 7th grade. While this may seem like a short time compared to some of my classmates who have been here since preschool, 2 years at this amazing school were enough to fill me with a variety of experiences and memories that I could never forget. I have learned so many lessons, made great new friends, and attended a class with the most outstanding teachers. Fairmont has provided me with opportunities, support, and a spectacular education by introducing me to new activities such as debate, pentathlon, NGHS, science fair, and more. More than that, Fairmont has had an even greater impact on my life with the teachers, students, and staff who encourage and support me every day. Since I haven't been here long, I haven't been in every teacher's class. However, the teachers who did teach me left me with an important lesson each class, and I would like to thank all of those teachers. Miss Miller, your science classes went far beyond the facts written in the textbook. The way you explain science makes your classes fascinating and delightful. Mr. Chi, thank you for your patience and providing explanations of every complicated topic we learned. I'll never forget your classes, and I hope you know how much I enjoyed them. Miss Hart, thank you for teaching literature and English. You have such a sunny and artistic personality, which reflects in your fun and creative classes. Mr. Cameron, you were always passionate about the history topics we learned in class, from reading The Princess Bride in 7th grade to learning about the Civil War just a couple of weeks ago. Professor Abe, our Spanish teacher, thank you for teaching a truly enjoyable class with so much enthusiasm, and thank you for your never-ending patience and understanding. Mr. Hughes, thank you for teaching me debate. Your classes are full of meaningful conversations about our topics. Coach Jordan, thank you for being a wonderful PE teacher and for leading us in ASB. Ms. Pack, even though you never taught me math, I want to thank you for always being a kind person to me and for your guidance in NJHS. Ms. Ribeiro, you showed us that the best writing can happen with a little inspiration, and you were there to excite us about the writing. Ms. Wong, thank you for your literature class. I will always remember how much fun I had while reading books in your classes, and I really enjoyed, and I will never forget those classes. Mr. Clovis, thank you for a great time every day this year and the 10 minutes we had for advisory. Your advisory was a great way to start my day, and the time I spent there helped me prepare for the rest of my day and my classes. Mrs. Cameron, thank you for being an incredible principal. Your joyful character shines through all the events you organize and the changes you make to improve our school. You're a person who makes students feel welcome in our school and who students know that they can trust and talk to. Next, I would like to thank our beloved art, literature, and English teacher, Ms. Devane. She was an incredibly passionate and strong teacher who inspired all of her students with stories and ideas about the books we read, the poems we wrote, or the art we created. Every class with Ms. Devane was a new journey through learning, a new way to use words in writing, or to read between the lines of our literature book. Ms. Devane's impact on the school will never be forgotten, and the memories made in her classes will stay with her students forever. Finally, I would like to thank my parents. Thank you, Mom and Dad, for being the best and most supportive parents I could imagine. You love me unconditionally, and I know you would stand next to me no matter what. Also, I would like to thank my sister Vera for her everlasting cheerfulness and for being my friend. I would also like to thank my grandma, who came all the way from Poland to see me graduate today. Now I'd like to congratulate all of my classmates for completing 8th grade. I know it took a lot of hard work to make it here, and that is why you should all be proud to be here today and of all of your achievements. Also, congratulations to Rohan, the Salutatorian, as well. Saying goodbye to the school will be hard. I will miss everything about this campus, above all, the wonderful people I had the pleasure of meeting here. Right now, high school seems a bit intimidating, but it will definitely be a journey that I am excited to embark on. While I can't wait to go to high school, I also hate to have to say goodbye to this school. However, I think that our class will go on to achieve great things in the future. We are all thrilled as well as nervous to go to high school, eager to learn and ready to continue to a new and exciting chapter of our lives. Thank you.
And now we would like to begin the presentation of the diplomas. Ladies and gentlemen, give a huge round of applause for each graduate as their name is called.
Aiden Ahmed.
Keon Aminian.
Misha Bari.
Incredible, Misha, incredible. It's a life skill. John Lawrence Boyer.
Kareem Debian.
Nicola Borgani.
Rohan Gupta.
Ziad Khaled Hassan.
Rayhan Jessa.
Cliff Jin.
Jones Laib.
Alexa Lewis.
Harris Lee.
Zachary Miller.
Sam Mortazagoli.
Logan Pardo.
Stechkowski.
Luca Soderling.
Sharif Solomon.
Emma Sun.
Sahil Vaidya.
And Kyle Wang. We waited this long. It's fine, Kyle. We got you. Whatever you need, C1. Whatever you need. So I've known Emma since 5th grade at historic Anaheim campus, and her name was actually not Emma at the time until she'd selected her name as Emma. And so today at graduation, I told her that I would say Emma Sun when I called her name, but I found a way to sneak in the C1 Sun. So Emma, you just take your sweet time. This is a great tradition at North Tustin, the ability to hand out roses to people that have been impactful in your time here at North Tustin. So it's with great honor that we watch our students hand out these roses and say their thank yous. Do I do one of these? Hey, Mrs. Calabria's in the back too. I know that she really would love the focus and attention. She's hiding. Do you see her, Emma? See one. Eighth graders, we're proud to announce that you have met all the requirements established by Fairmont Private Schools. It is our great honor to officially promote you to ninth grade. Congratulations, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the class of 2019. At this time, will Jones and Cliff please join us at the microphone?
On behalf of the 8th grade class, thank you for joining us today in our celebration. Following recessional hors d'oeuvre will be served on the green tub.
Those of you joining us for dinner, please arrive at Orange Mining Company by 7:15 p.m. so the rest of the evening's festivities may begin on time. Congratulations, class of 2019. We did it.